Before we begin, I wanted to use this opportunity to quote one of my favorite fictional characters, and that is Professor Albus Dumbledore. He said that words are, in my not so humble opinion, a most inexhaustible source of magic, capable of inflicting injury and remedying it. I'm very grateful that I'm able to be here and use this magic and share the ideas that shaped how I see the world. My name is Mac, also known as Studio Melanix. I run a creative workshop called Alchemy of Sculpture, where myself and participants are traveling and exploring our memories while our hands are engaged with clay. I also co-run a community cinema, where I help program films, aiming for the program to contain both the highs and lows of life and the duality of human experience. In the spare time that I have, I go on walks that can last hundreds of miles, traveling through the wonderful British countryside with my lovely stick and a rugged copy of the Silmarillion that I read to cows, ducks, and other creatures I meet along the way. I was always a fan of TED Talks, but I fell in love and actually seen the potential of them while listening to the one by the wonderful Agnes Varda. While standing on stage with a box of the films from her 70-year career, this lovely old lady was talking about her work and experience with inspiration, describing it as something magical, a ray of light that can pierce through everything to give life to an idea, even in our lowest of times. I could talk about many things today, be it the power of cinema or the things that I came across during my adventures, but given that today's theme is second chances, I wanted to talk about something that could benefit all of us if we only gave it a chance. Sculpture. Allow me to tell you a short story and reintroduce you to this wonderful material you may be familiar with from your school days. This is modeling clay, or plasticine if you like, and with a little time and warmth, it can be anything a mind wishes. During my final year in college, one of the assignments was to create a stop-motion animation. The task was pretty simple. Get into groups, and together, using simple tools and equipment, create a short stop-motion animated film that would be suitable for children to watch. Our story was quite ambitious, with our hero being a little boy who's afraid of the darkness, and upon going to bed and turning off the lights and grabbing a flashlight, he discovered that the walls of his home collapsed, prompting him to dispatch on a journey into the unknown. From what I remember, we had the most characters out of all the groups, with our terrified little hero facing vampires, goblins, zombies, and other grotesque creatures while wandering through a dark forest. All the elaborate and unique characters and all the set pieces were created with nothing else but simple pieces of clay. The more time we put into it, the more defined the features were, the eyes, the faces, and the bodies. The animating itself was a nightmare, with our sets and models melting under the scorching lamps through hours of painstaking animation. After finishing the project, which we were quite happy with, I have not created another stop motion again, with this one being my first and last. For now, at least. Years fly by. I'm a university student then, still studying filmmaking, living in my tight studio flat in West London with my girlfriend. Like with every student, while the desire of making a film was burning within me, The pressures of university, part-time job, relationship, and everything else that comes with the privilege of being alive began stacking up. I thought then that to make a film, however long, I would need money, people, energy. And during those times, I felt like I was bankrupt on all of these departments. That was before I knew about Agnes Varda and about a freedom a filmmaker can experience if they only let go of preconceived expectations. As you can imagine, I was frustrated with helplessness. Then something unexpected happened. A little spark of inspiration managed to find its way across to my already over-occupied mind. While cleaning my studio flat and going through all the rubbish, like a spring clean, I came across a bag full of my schoolwork and college work. Most of it was rubbish, of course, but the most exciting part of the find was a box of clay that was used in the animation project years prior. I was filled with nostalgia and joy. The faces and the features of the old characters were still distinguishable within the rubble, very faintly as time and mishandling has deformed them, but just enough to bring back those memories of working on the project in those carefree times. Upon laying my hands on the material and giving it a second chance, I had a eureka moment. In my hands, the models and characters turned into dust, and then with my hands again, they were revived into something that again contained life. I fell in love. How I wish I sooner discovered that this box of clay contained everything I needed to be creative again. Compared to other arts that I wanted to try, all the works required extra equipment and tools to keep producing work. And mistakes frequently came with consequences. While sculpting, I realized that the clay felt infinite and forgiving. I realized that my hands, my mind, and my eyes were all working together, that even softening the clay initially is in itself something that allowed me to momentarily disconnect from the demands of everyday life. Being passionate about cinema, this was a great method to further explore the films I was watching. This was one of the earliest times where I became fascinated by the concept of memory and inspiration. The film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind made a huge impression on my younger self. It is a story set in the near future about the struggle of completely, clinically removing a memory of someone we loved, which becomes very complicated as these memories are very significant and they're connected into other events and our identity. While sculpting, I had the chance to further explore the film's message, applying it to myself, asking myself, which memory would I remove if I only had a chance? Finding this space and time for reflection is very challenging, especially in modern times. There are companies spending millions just to attract us to one of their products, with our attention and time being fought for by these companies. Ironically, recent polls show that even those people that study films are finding it hard to watch them, let alone reflect on how they may affect them subconsciously. How hard has it become for this little spark of inspiration to catch us off guard? The important thing that I wanted to convey is that the sculpture was not important whatsoever. I knew that after it is finished, it will again be crushed and return to its starting position. This lack of expectation for it to be something allowed it to be anything. even a vehicle for what is going within my mind internally. Having this space to reflect on films was great and very beneficial to me in my work. But a greater reward came where, instead of films, the things that I was revisiting and exploring were memories. Over the years, I had the chance to mature, like all of us do, and see things that happened in the past from a different perspective. The events that were unfortunate in the time and still subconsciously wounded me, upon revisiting and understanding what other events that are interlocked with, became very useful building blocks of life. Begin to develop appreciation for the things that I wanted to escape from before. Not for nothing, I quoted Dumbledore at the start of my talk, as his ability to extract his memories, to then look through them again for any missed out context or opportunities, became foundational to my work with clay. And how many of these memories are painful in hindsight, when we realize that it was perhaps last time when we see someone and an opportunity to say goodbye has fell through? And how many of these events are funny and trivial, only now making sense with time and understanding? Recently, I had a chance to watch a wonderful film by a director called Hirokazu Korida called Afterlife. While the other film was about getting rid of a negative memory while we are alive, this film, in contrast, was about preserving a positive memory after we die. So the story goes, every Monday morning, a group of newly deceased people go to the afterlife, which is like an office or a studio, and a group of employees working there have the task of finding out about these people that just died, and throughout the week, find out one memory that they cherish and want to preserve and keep with them as they go along. Then later on throughout the week, they get the film equipment, and together they make a little movie out of the memory so that person that has the memory can experience it once again. The film showed a different varying relationships with memory, how some of them, that's the most valuable thing that they possessed, and others, that's the one thing they would want to escape from. Beside that, the film showed how precious and unique these memories are to us. Some of you may think that memories are just events and facts in life that happened. But as you age, you will realize that memories crack and break over time, creating gaps. These gaps are frequently filled with imagination. The positive memories of positive days will remove everything else negative and fill it up with everything else positive that was going on around, making these times that much greater. And on the other hand, the negative memories will also grow with imagination. In my creative journey, I ask myself, is a flip possible? Could these positive memories be filled with neutral moments, easing our desire to return to these seemingly unreachable times? And on the flip side, can these negative memories be filled with positive reflections and lessons we can take away from them, making the burden a little easier to carry? After you leave this place today, I wanted to encourage you to get a piece of clay. It is very cheap. It is very easily accessible. You can find it anywhere. And then spend a few minutes or an hour, if you can afford it, to soften the clay, to put the heat of your hands into it, making it soft and malleable. Then think about a memory that you cherish or a moment in life. Give yourself an anchor, write a word on a piece of paper. This could even be an item, or even a scent. Like in the film Afterlife, while you sculpt, think about this one memory that you hold most valuable. Out of the thousands collected through life, which one of them do you hold most dear and would like to preserve? Then, if you're feeling brave, like in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which memory that does not want to let go would you like to abandon? Thank you very much for having me today. And if there's one thing you will remember from my talk, then please remember this. The events in our life that happened are set in stone and cannot be changed. But our relationship to these events is not. I hope my talk will inspire you to revisit them and give them a second chance. Thank you very much. Thank you.